Welcome to Costly Conversations. I'm super excited because we have the Mike Smith with us this evening. And just a quick matter of housekeeping before we get started. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you. And if you haven't already, consider going over to the YouTube side if you're listening on audio and subscribe. We definitely need your support. And onto the show. What is going on, Mike? It's good to have you with us this evening.
Yeah,
And
good to be here.
yeah, well, I guess people ought to know a little bit about you. Who are you, and kind of what do you do? If they followed you on Instagram at all, and I think they should. You have a fantastic Instagram full of great training tips and some gear recommendations
Thank
that
you.
I've seen in the past, and I love to see it. Um, One thing that they'll recognize right off the bat is you do personal protection, security, that kind of thing. But I guess talk a little bit about yourself and kind of who you are and what do you do.
Well, okay, I've been doing security, private security, static security for over 3 decades now. So uh, I started from starting off my IG page because I was led to just inspire people. I don't do it for you never see me tagging anyone anything trying to use it for a money tool. It's a tool that I believe that God wanted me to start to inspire couples, families to go out and better themselves to be able to protect themselves. A lot of times we get, especially our culture, meaning African Americans, we get weapons and we don't train with them. And I think anything you get, you need to put time into it. Now, we put time into other stuff, but we need to put time into training with each other. We shoot with our friends, but we don't shoot with our wives. We shoot, matches, but we don't shoot with our kids. So I'm trying to change that narrative, me being Afro American and training with my wife, my kids on a regular basis. I think that's very important.
Yeah, well, I think that is super important. And one thing that I just noted right off the bat when you talked about training with your wife and inspiring folks to do that, there have been countless videos that I've seen with you and your wife outside running drills in the elements per se. It's not like necessarily raining or anything, and maybe you guys have worked in the rain or in different elements, but I find it inspiring. Like, oh wow, she's out there. She can really shoot too. Okay, because unfortunately, a lot of guys are, well, fortunately, in the sense that they're out there doing a really good job, putting shots on target and really killing it in that sense. But when it comes to them kind of passing that information to the people who need it, wives, children, even some of their friends who honestly they need help. You know what I mean? Um, we don't do a good job with that. So that's awesome. I do want to talk a little bit about beyond the Instagram thing because everybody and their mom is on Instagram, but you do something that's kind of unique in the city in the state where you live, and actually in a few other cities and states. You actually run an executive protection company, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
with that, you've been able to interact with folks that a lot of folks they'd be kind of starstruck if they brush shoulders with. Obviously there are certain things that you really just can't talk about due to the nature of the job and keeping people's privacy private. But if there is anything that you can share with that, obviously we'd love to hear kind of what that's like. But more specifically, what are some of the or my question is really, what are some of the elements of executive protection that we can actually apply to just regular life and just moving and being about in public?
Okay, well, I believe my first priority is to my family, to my wife and kids. I tell everybody that I love my clients, but I love my family more. I got some clients that I've been with for a while that basically just like family. But simple things like, having good situation awareness. That's one very important thing that I think, that everyone should, really, really work on. What people are talking about, keep your head on the swivel. Just don't be so tunnel vision into your phone. Have your phone, you're so engrossed in your phone, you don't see anything going on around you. Making sure also that you're properly prepared when you're moving around. What I mean by that is that if you know you're going to do some running around that next day, have enough gas in your vehicle that you don't have to stop late at night. If you're going to be out late, not stopping late at night, and being forced to go somewhere. I go to the same gas stations. I don't try to go to different gas stations. Put yourself in a situation where your vehicle prepared, you and your family, you're not stopping, in the middle of the night somewhere that you're not familiar with trying to get gas. Not having bad habits, not going shopping late at night. It's a lot of different things. Like when we move and you're moving the client, you're not getting out of the hotel room and then getting in the empty SUV or getting in the empty Sprint. That's not safe. So if I have to extract that client out of there, and we only got 5 miles on, in the tank before it might run out, it's not a small move. So it's just a lot of things I do. I tell people how I sit in the restaurant. I want to sit with my back to the wall so I can see everything in front. Try to put as much as I can in front of me. No surprise. I don't have to check behind me because I'm trying to put everything in front of me. Bathrooms included. A lot of bad guys go in the bathroom and stage their guns and then come out. Things like a restaurant, I want to know where the kitchen is. I want to also try to position myself where I can get to the kitchen is. Why? Because all kitchens have exits because they have to take the trash. They're not bringing the trash through the restaurant. They're going to go out the back door of the kitchen to take the trash out. So there's a lot of little things I tell, I just try to work on little small things. But the biggest thing is just not being into your phone and have great situation awareness. Meaning that you're looking around, watching it. Hey, why is this guy, staring at me? Okay, I see this guy. Why is he hanging around the side of the building? Things of that nature. Just it goes whether you're doing exec protect or you just being a smart citizen.
Yeah, yeah, most certainly. So I took a few little notes because you're spitting gems. So I think it's only right. But one thing that I hear all the time is, oh yeah, you got to keep your head on a swivel. And then some people, I guess they're deep in that lifestyle where they're doing things they're not supposed to, and they literally look paranoid. Now,
Mhm.
for you, I guess what does that look like practically? Head on a swivel. I know you didn't make it sound like some sort of caricature. Just saying don't keep your head in your phone. You'll be able to kind of see what's going on. But what does that look like from a practical standpoint? So you don't kind of out yourself as somebody who may be carrying a weapon or looks like literally scared or paranoid. Like how do you move?
Well, I just walk and look around. I mean, I'm just walking. I might have my phone looking around. Just looking around. I'm just talking, smiling, turn around behind me. Just walking and just if you look natural, you're not like this here. Just natural movement. Just naturally turn and look. You're just walking, you just looking. You're
Right,
just looking
right,
side
right.
to side.
You're not like
If
looking
it's
behind
the
every
boat.
corner and dumpster, like looking for a,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
You don't have to be. Just look natural, like you just walking, you just enjoying the day, and just just looking.
yeah,
Nothing. When people say, it's so funny when people say drills. It's so funny. They say, "Don't take you out the target." So you got something. You go, you look down, look up. Nobody's gonna close the gap and disappear in a quarter of a second.
right,
If I'm looking here and I look here, that sounds good for a good 30, 40 seconds. If I get up and I look over here and I'm coming back and looking down, look forward, look over here, I'm just walking a little way. Nothing just gonna pop out of the blue anywhere. Now, understand that more condensed the area is, the more you might want to look around. So, okay, if I'm walking between a lot of cars, and say I'm walking through a parking lot and I see a lot of people in the parking lot, then my rate picks up as far as me looking because I know some guys that might look a little shady that's 15 yards from me, or they're just standing out, look a little shady 15 yards from me, or they're just standing out, period. Now, at that point in time, you got a lot of options. Why not, if you can, go the opposite way, go away from them and get back in the road, go towards your car. So, or if you don't feel comfortable, just turn around, pat your pocket like you've got some, go back into the store. You don't have to walk into, you don't have to be John Wick and walk into something. If you feel uncomfortable about something, just turn around, and make it look as natural as you can, and go back and go the other way or go the opposite way. So condense it. It's just like if I walk through a crowd with my family, uh, with a client, if people are 2 steps away, I want to be 1 step away.
Right.
I don't want to be 2 steps away and they're 2 steps away. Now, if they're friends, family, and stuff, then you can relax on. You can relax a lot because it's 40 people, all 40 of them. When you're walking through an unknown element, you want to be closer to them, as close as possible to them than the crowd is to them. So uh, it's just like I said, just a lot. You just naturally want to look around. You don't want to, be paranoid. Or, you're doing this here. You just naturally just looking. And I use my phone as a prop. I might not even be on my phone. I'm just looking at my phone like I'm looking. I look around. And I look at my phone. I look around. And just look natural, so it don't look like I'm being paranoid. But I'm watching everything that's going around. I'm watching everything on purpose to see what if anything look out of place. And there's certain things that I look for, so that's just natural. Be natural.
Yeah, it's interesting that you said using the phone as a prop because I've gone through and we've talked about this some security training in my past, and one thing that one of the guys was saying is like, hey, they know a guy who when he's doing church security, he walks around with a coffee cup in his hand. It's empty, nothing's in the coffee cup. He just does it to kind of become more unassuming, less intimidating, so he can walk up and address people that need to be addressed and kind of add an element of diffusion into the situation naturally. And I'm wondering if that's kind of the mindset, just kind of looking more unassuming. Oh, he's on his phone. He's just looking around. Nothing serious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. It's just a diversion,
Yeah.
and it makes you look more natural. Then if I'm doing this versus doing this, looks totally different, like a guy on his phone, but I'm not so much in my phone that I look
Yeah.
like I'm making myself a soft target.
Yeah. Just kind of looking up, look at the phone, look up a little
Yeah,
bit, nothing too
that's just a
crazy.
diversion. I'm not on my phone. Well, sometimes I might be, but I'm still watching what's going on around me.
Right. I mean, whether you got a phone call to make or not, like kind of being aware and not being so sucked into it, the tunnel vision that if something were to occur within a few seconds, you couldn't react and respond. One thing that I love that you were talking about making smart choices. Like, hey, if you're going out with the family, make sure that car is full so you don't have to stop at some gas station. Because, honestly, like think about it. If you got a truck full of kids and now you gotta get into a situation, wouldn't it be better to get into a situation by yourself versus with a bunch of children that now you have to take them into account? So,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and
yeah,
no difference. Your kid equals your client.
right.
Time goes on, and some incidents happen in the hotel. You jump in the vehicle. Now you want to jump in a vehicle with no gas or vehicle with gas.
Right.
So and if you can't get to the vehicle, if it's feasible, then you want that vehicle to be running and not have to worry about stopping to get some gas and within 2 or 3 minutes of getting in the vehicle. Same thing with the kids. Plan out your day that you don't have to stop nowhere with your kids. Get your gas, be prepared, and it just make the less stops you have to make, the less chance something happens. That's not being paranoid. That's just being properly prepared, in my opinion.
Right. No, and that's actually a really interesting point. Like there's an element of intelligence that comes with that. And proper preparation as in wouldn't you prefer to be able to stop at the gas station that always has a better price anyways? Like there's like two
Yeah,
or three gas stations around here that if I'm getting gas, I prefer to get gas here. If I find that I've failed to plan and like, oh, I'll get gas in the morning type situation. Now I'm rushing. If I stop somewhere else, I'm paying literally like 15 cents more. Like it's
yeah.
ridiculous. So
And
why
you
not get a
don't know
better
that
deal?
you don't know the surroundings that well.
Eh,
Like
eh,
I
yep.
I know that if it is somebody gonna come ask me for gas money or money in general, I know them. I've been seeing them for the last 10 years. Like,
Right.
okay, what's up, John? And, hey Mike, and but the thing is that you don't want to be in a situation like that. But some situations you just can't no, you
Hmm.
can't get around it, man. I mean, it's just the way things are now. But I know the people in the store. I know the cash in the store. I know everything's going. Other thing is that advantage something goes on and you have to go to guns. You're gonna have the people in the store, the people you know. Oh, hey, Mike is a good guy. He's a regular customer. He's not a troublemaker. He's been coming in here for the last 6, 7 years. You got
Hmm.
all that in your to your advantage. Versus that they don't know you pull a gun out. You're in a strange environment. They don't know if you're a good guy or bad guy. You establish yourself as a good guy based on the relationship you have and where you go. And that's why I try to go to the same spots all the time.
No,
And
that actually makes a lot of
people
sense.
that know they train. I got people guys say they train me. The owners train with me. They know me. So
Yeah.
it's a big difference when you got the person, people you come also come to private property. When they come to the property, you got the owner of the store saying, "Oh, he's a great guy. He comes in here all the time."
No, that
They
makes a
all
lot
that
of
ways
sense.
in your favor.
Yeah. So I noticed earlier when we were talking about things that you can do that kind of translate well, executive protection to civilian lifestyle, um, specifically going into restaurants and trying to make sure you're strategically sat or sitting to be able to respond or, at least see what's going on. If anything can happen, someone could have a medical emergency, at least you know what's going on. Um, have you found yourself in situations, because I know I have, where you go to a restaurant and you prefer to sit in a certain area and it's just not going to work because all the server is not going to be able to seat you there, you got to sit over here, and it's less advantageous, but it's still not like, you know the worst situation. What do you kind
Uh,
of do in those situations?
to be honest, I'll just wait. Depending on, it might not be, if it's not my first option, the second option, I might go ahead on and sit down and go ahead on and eat in the restaurant. But I just wait. I
Hmm.
mean, uh, because I don't want to be in the middle of any situation, and I can't. I put myself. Why put yourself in a situation to lose?
Right.
Think about that. I mean, you want to eat that bad, well, you're gonna put yourself in a situation to lose. I'm not sitting in the middle of a restaurant and everything. I got no control of my environment. I can't see the door. I mean, that's me now. I mean, that might sound uh, a little overzealous, but man, listen, man, I don't want to put myself in a situation to win. I mean, a situation to lose. I always put myself in a situation to win. I just wait. So you might have to wait 20 more minutes. You might have to wait 30 more minutes. I'd rather do that and sit where I want to sit than just take a seat anywhere and put myself in a situation to lose.
Yeah.
And now let me tell you something. I tell people all the time that I've been blessed to train. Uh, you probably will never draw your weapon in a self defense situation ever. The odds are very, very slim. Everybody, all these Navy SEALs and all, 10 million Navy SEALs, but there's only been maybe under 100,000 actually, qualified Navy SEALs. I'm just putting a number out there. But everybody, Green Berets, experts, SWAT, and all this other stuff. It's only so many people actually involved in a shooting every year. But all these experts will tell you this, and that. Not saying you have to be involved in the shooting to know what you're talking about. What I'm saying, you got all these experts. What I'm saying is that the odds you pulling the gun out is very, very small. If it's 1%, I just want to be ready for that 1%. That's all. If it's 0.15%, I want to be ready for that situation. So you'll probably never, never have to pull your weapon. I'm just how it is, but the percentage is going up. It's been going up over the last couple of years. So like I said, I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. And I'm not talking about just the weapon. I'm talking about the skill set that goes along with the weapon.
Yeah, no, that absolutely, that makes a lot of sense. I know you mentioned earlier, if you're in a situation going through a parking lot, which that makes the most sense. I know for myself, I do that all the time. Going through a parking lot, you want to kind of be mindful of the gaps, like where could somebody be hiding, or even on a more, I guess, benevolent or a different kind of situation. If somebody was going through their car and passed out, there could be somebody on the floor who needs help, and at least you could call for help at that point. But if you're not paying attention, sucked into your phone or just tunnel vision to your car, you're gonna miss stuff, and you could potentially miss something serious, or even different kind of situation. A lost kid hanging out in the parking lot somewhere in between a car. That kid might need some help. You could at least get some help for them. That said, when you find yourself, I guess, in public, whether you're on the job or just with the family, which is on the job for you, I know, how do you, I guess, discern or discriminate between just a guy and a don't look right? Like, how do you profile per se?
Well, it's not. I don't think I really like profile. Just make common sense. Like take an example. You talking about the parking lot. A lot of times people think that okay, two guys in the car. Okay, you walk past the car. You see the guys get out the car, but they're not walking to the store. They're walking behind you. Now, like, why are they walking behind me? And they might be 15, 20 yards behind me, but they got out the car and they just slowly walking behind me. No, I'm wondering why are they walking behind me and not walking to the store? So it's just a lot of common sense stuff you need to look at. You know, if someone's uh, park at a gas tank, they're coming around. And what I do, I look at their hands. Where are their hands? If their hands down by the side, nothing in hand. If their hands in their jacket, in their pocket, I'm looking at all that. And so that's why I believe just having the skill set to get out off the X and move and put rounds on target is very, very important because if you can't do that, what happens, you might panic and you accidentally, out of fear, brandish a weapon on someone out of fear because you haven't practiced. It's I call muscle memory natural instinct. It's my natural instinct, and something happens, I'm gonna move and get those rounds off on the bad guy because while you coming at me with your hand in your jacket at any time of day, why I'm gonna say, hey, hold on, hands up. That's gonna fall in my favor because I'm pumping my hand, telling him to stop as I'm moving back. Leave the car. I can't get in the car. The car is a kill box. So I'm backing away from pumping my hands. I'm making distance. I'm creating space. Distance is your friend. Closer you are, distant against skill. At 2 yards, you don't have to be a good shot to hit me. So I'm going to be moving back, pumping my hands. It's stuff like that. You can put yourself in a situation where you can't control everything. Somebody lying, they think can control everything. If I control everything, you wouldn't be talking to me right now. I'd be in the CIA somewhere, being a multi-billionaire. So you can't control any situation, but you can put yourself in the best situation based on stuff that don't look natural. If you're coming in, look up to someone, you look at their hands, look at their facial expression. Do they look angry, mad? And then you should see them. Hopefully, you stand out. You see them before they walk up on you. If somebody get out of the car, why are they getting out of the car, walking toward me? Why are they following me? So these are the things I tell people all the time. Just natural stuff is not. I'm not doing anything that I feel, in my opinion, that's just unnatural. I'm just taking why these people they're around me in different components, in different situations, while they're doing what they're doing, and look at their hands, their posture, their attitude as far as they're snapping. Oh man, they didn't give me no money. Since I'm tired. Hey, bro. No, ain't no hey, bro. Let's go on about your business, man. Shut it down right then and there. So those are I'm just just trying to come up with some quick examples. Those are the things I try to do when I'm out and about. I just look at stuff that looks unnormal.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can appreciate you, even going through the trouble of trying to come up with some ideas to help people really see what you're talking about. Because I think that's important to be able to visualize and kind of recognize in your own life how to apply these principles, principles of self protection and protecting your family. That's huge. So, kind of going along in your travels and your journeys and getting to do the job that you've gotten to do for 30 years at this point, if I'm correct. Um,
Yeah,
have you gotten a chance to go out of the country and do this thing, personal protection, executive protection, or
yeah,
has it always
yeah.
been
I've, I've,
stateside?
I've traveled different places, man. It's the same. Uh, it's the same no matter where you go. Protocol. It's good to see different environments and stuff, but it's basically the same. It's just the environments are different. What people don't realize, they look at like it's like lavish. It's just a job. Like, oh, you went here, man. I was working. It was cool,
Right,
but I'm working. It ain't like I'm out here swimming in the pool and partying it up. I'm working, man. So yeah, you went to the party, but I'm at the party working. It's different.
right. Yeah, on the clock, literally.
I don't even like going to parties unless I have to. I don't, oh man, all these people, I don't know them. I don't want to go to a party. So
Right.
they look at
Anybody
it,
could just pop off. People drinking it just gets
man,
wild.
I like, hey, one of the blessed things is wake up and kiss my kids in the morning and be with my family.
That's the party.
Once you get to the point you're traveling a lot, people don't understand the toll it take on your body. You do one day it's 20 degrees, next day you're in California 75 and sunny. You back here, or it's just traveling different climates. Also, the flight time, the jet lag,
The jet
just
lag, yeah.
drains you. It's just a lot, man. It's a lot of wear and tear. People see the glamour and think it's just all glamorous. It's not, So, what I'm saying. Now I go out very rarely. I do go out still, but I got clients I go out with more so here in the city, and I just try to enjoy being with my family. I tell people all the time, if you want to grow a business, that's great, but at some point in time, you can't be the worker. So if you're gonna be a worker and you got a business, you really got a job. You got a self-employed job. You want to run a business to be home, be able to go shoot and train, go lunch with your daughter, lunch with your wife. Me and my son we went and trained today. We went to my campground, got some good training in there. I introduced him to the 1911. He never had shot 1911 before, so
Mhm.
something different. Manipulating that safe. So I was like, you know what? Let me break him down, and we're gonna do some shooting with my 1911. Hey, Miss Smith.
Absolutely.
Wife.
Well, hello to Mrs. Smith. And one thing that I did want to ask you about, when you get a chance to travel, or when you've gotten chances to travel, is have you always been armed, or have there been some countries where you've opted to not be the one who's armed?
Oh man, you don't have to go outside of the country. You can be. It's right here. You can't go to New York. You can go to New York and different places like that with a gun. So yeah, it's just that's why I like impact pins. Flashlights, different things of that nature. You need to have open hand skills.
Hmm.
Because everything you're not going to be able to take a gun. You can't take a gun everywhere here.
Right.
So it's just all there to it. So now you can. Well, the driver, I do ask for the driver, someone to be armed there. But I mean, like nowadays, man, the guys training and stuff so bad. They say all this, and that. They can't. They might end up shooting me and my client, man. It just. I mean, they can't shoot, man. A lot of these guys just can't shoot. They don't put in the time in. They're working all the time. They don't put in time to shoot, man.
Yeah, I did.
You
I
see
did
all
want
these
to
people,
ask you
all
about
these,
that.
I miss this and that. But if you don't listen, man, I told people for years. Good friend of mine, Mark James, great guy. He do Zep protect training all around United States. I don't know if he went out of the country now, probably. So I think he's made Mark 16. He probably wrote maybe 6 or 7 books so far. But the thing is that don't your gun's gonna tell me everything I need to know about you. You don't have to tell me I was this, and that. When you pull that gun out and you engage that threat, it's gonna tell me everything you need about. Because what happened is that, and I did a video one time a while back about like say this bag, these are your certificates. So if something happens, threat, okay, certificates, the certificates not doing the fight. You doing the fight. So I tell people all the time, don't be the resume, be the results. You can
Mm,
have all these accolades and all this, but it's the results that are going to save you. It's the results that are going to save your family, yourself, your client. It's the results. Accolades is good. Don't get me wrong, it's good to go get trained. But if you can't duplicate what those and be in line with what those applications and these resumes and these diplomas say, it does you no good. And what happens? You go to class, but you don't do any follow-up training. You go to another class, you don't do any follow-up training. You have the knowledge. You got people that know what to do. They just physically don't know how to go about doing it. They have no idea knowing about to go. And you got teams together that don't know how to work together. They don't. And then they're just then a lot of people take people that get this guy because they get the best price on them. They try to put their own team together, and they're not paying for training, not paying for ammo, they're not paying for the bomb. They're paying them, but by the time they take their everyday expenses out and different stuff like that, and you got too many people that protect, they want to be involved. They want to get these chains and all this stuff. No, man, my money going to my guns, and my training and my ammo. That's what I'm putting my money into. We put money into buying jewelry and different stuff like that. It's not going to make us money. I took my money. I brought me my campground when I got my own range. That makes me money. You understand what I'm saying? Saves me time. That helps me train my family and my kids. So
absolutely.
that money is well spent because it's helping me make money. Also, it's keeping me on top of my game, so I don't have to worry about somebody saying I can't do this and this and that. I can't shoot this rate of speed. I can't draw. And I can't
Yeah.
have still targets here. I can't have miss. So I limited all that, but everybody don't think like that, and that's how uh, you get to a certain level in life. You want to have certain comforts, man, but too many guys want the chains and the clothes and all that stuff, man. You know, they got a couple guns and they can't shoot them, man. You know, and that's on them. Like I said, even then they probably won't never use it, man. But you can really ruin your life. One shot can just everything you work for gone.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
absolutely
so yeah,
correct.
yeah,
And even if you come out of a situation where you have a shot go awry and hit somebody that it's not supposed to, you have to live with that.
yeah,
You got to live with that.
yeah.
And do
Yeah,
you want to? Because
you got to live with it one way or the other. If you hit the right target, you got to live with it. You
that's
got to
right.
live with it if you hit the wrong person. So people
That's right.
think you just shoot someone is just it. No, man, that's something to stay with you for the rest of your life.
Hmm.
You know, when you take, especially you take some life, it's not something that's just gonna uh, just like okay, well, no big deal. I mean, you got to deal with it and cope with it, but you're gonna deal with it one way or the other. It's just gonna ruin your life as far as financially. You might doing some jail time. You might not be able to carry a gun again. So you got to look at all that stuff, man. So I just rather be on the front end, whether I hit what I was shooting and further missing what I shot at. I'm shooting at, but one way or the other, it's gonna live. It's gonna stick with you. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah,
appreciate you sharing that with me and the audience and making sure that we have a good idea of what the reality is in just the situation. I did, and you may have addressed it, but maybe there's something else that has been weighing heavy on your heart. Having been in this business for as many years as you have, and kind of probably even since 2020, I imagine the numbers went way up because people are buying guns, people are trying to find ways to pay for their guns, and say, "Oh, well, let me get a security uh, certification and go work this job. I'm the only guy I know with guns, so it just makes sense." Did that happen, or more? The question is, what are some of the problems that you're seeing in the executive protection world? Is it what we just talked about, or are there some other things?
it's just a lot of people, man. There's some good people out there, some bad people out there. And what I mean by that, you got guys that just in it for just think it's glamorous, and they don't do any training, don't do anything. We got a lot of people like that. Uh, they have skills, but they have more club skills, meaning that they went from a club and they think they're ready for exec protect. They don't know anything about advancing an area. They don't know anything about a lot of stuff. And a lot of times, I'm just going to be honest with you, they're really flunkies for their clients. They'll compromise safety to appease the client. No, we're not going in there, dude. No, we're not doing that. But they don't have any other option because that's the only source of revenue as far as income they got to come in. And so they're going to do whatever the client say, whether it's the best thing for them or not, they're going to do it. Versus someone that has a little more stable, more stable in their life, say, man, we ain't going to that club, bro. It's a bad idea. Let me go check it out first. I'll let you know what I think. But at the end of the day, the client, they have to go. But at least put yourself in a situation where you advance it. Okay, we're gonna sit here. We can't do this ain't in order. We leave. But at the end of the day, it happens all the time. When people don't have the balls to stand up, they don't even know how to advance the area. They just want to go in and you know look cool and all that, man. And that's one of the biggest things. A lot of guys they don't really know if they don't stand up to their clients. Guys that work with somebody for 2 or 3 months and say, okay, yeah, you worked for a couple months. That was a client, but man, they go client to client to client. No, no. I mean, they can't even say they work for the same guy for a year, but they have to do what they have to do to make money. So then a lot of people EP work, and then they're down for a while. Some people not, but some people are. And there's just so much people just like it's a lot of fakeness in my opinion. Just people trying to act like there's something and not. I'm humble, man. You know what I'm saying? But they try to talk about and try to be about something, and they bringing that club thug mentality to EP, and man, there'll be a lot of stuff you don't hear about. There's a lot of shootouts and stuff never make the news, and just tell them fights never make the news. And people in the industry know what I'm talking about. Yeah, our stuff just never make the news. So that's one of the biggest things I think. Just the quality of the quality of people really trying to be in it for the right reason. And there's a lot of people that are good people and certified, and I think they do a good job, but they just never get the right opportunity. You know.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Um, so we're going to actually take a quick second and do a quick commercial break. Just take about 30 seconds.
Okay.
So if you guys have made it this far, I do ask that you go ahead and like the video, or if you're listening to the podcast, share it out to at least one person. But while we're here, make sure you check the links down below because we have a couple people that support the show and we would love for you to check them out, including Blackout Coffee. It's a great Pro 2A coffee company. And of course, they would love your business and I would love it if you give them a shot. Try out one of their pods, or even if you just love coffee, check out some of their 5 pound bags because you know what? It's good coffee. I'm not even a big coffee guy, and I find myself drinking it. So check them out. And of course, we do have a couple other sponsors down below that we would love for you to just see if there's something that you want specifically. If you're in the market for new targets, Obsidian Training Group, they actually have a proprietary target that I think will help to enhance your shooting if you apply yourself. Now, back to the show. Mike, so I appreciate you kind of sharing some of those, I guess, dirty details of executive protection, kind of the way it's going. And I hope that if somebody's happens to be listening who needs to get some assistance in the executive protection realm, that they maybe do a little bit of homework and vet the people that they're about to hire because their life kind of depends on it, more or less. Um, that said, I'm not sure kind of what all you can share because I know on the phone earlier you had mentioned that you worked for certain clients in the past. I don't know what you're comfortable sharing right now, um, but I did want to, I guess, kind of talk about not necessarily the experience of working with any named client, but I guess so, well, more or less that. But what are some of the uniquenesses of working with different clients in the industry, not necessarily named?
I mean, like, what are you? I'm trying to just
Yes.
follow that what you're asking.
Yeah. So say I don't know that you've ever worked with like say Nicki Minaj versus like Trey Songz and
Mhm.
saying like, hey, with some clients, these are some things that you've had to deal with versus others that's not even a thing. Do you ever run into that where you're like, wow, these people are entirely different and now you really have to like change the way you look at the whole situation. Do you run into that?
Well, no. Yes and no. Let me. I can give you a small example. Uh, I traveled with the Migos for years when it first started. I still go out with Quavo off and on now. I traveled with Ludacris with my friend Mark James for over a year. Bus tour with him when I think it was Fast Furious 5. With Gone with him, we went all over the United States on a big tour bus. And so the thing is that different clients are totally different. Like the way different things I deal with Migos and Quavo are totally different when I deal with Ludacris. It's two different people. I had another young lady I did security for, sold the girdles. Uh, I think it was prima donna, but she sold it to Kim Kardashian like back in 2014. It blew up, blew up. So working with a woman as far as her and how I move around with her is different working with guys. So yes, a difference, and also it's a difference in how people treat you. Big difference, man. So uh, and as the status of the person go up, I've been around Nicki Minaj video. Quavo did the race car video at the shoot with her. I've been with Trey Songz, House Party. I've been around all those people. But the thing is that my job is going to have to, every job's going to have to change a little bit depending on the client. No, everybody's not going to be exactly the same. The basis is going to be the same. The way you move and stuff is going to be the same. But based on how people treat and react to you. I had a chance to work with Brandy. Man, people go crazy when they see, oh. So not saying they'll go crazy when they see other people, but like Brandy had a different, almost like a cult following, man. Like people went real crazy when they saw her. So
Yeah.
and I was like, man, I was with her when she first, I think it was that song "Shut It Down." When it first came out, I was with her and I got a chance to meet her daughter. Saw her daughter. Her daughter, first time ever seeing her perform. I was there to see it. Ray J was there. So just different, dealing with different family members. Every family member not the same. So yeah, you gonna have to, it's a difference in the client, but the base of your job stays the same. Your base of your job don't change that much, but you're gonna have to adapt to different things based on how other people really treat your clients. It's totally different.
Okay, so it's maybe less about how the client treats you and more about how the public treats your client per se.
It makes a big difference. Yeah, it
Yeah.
makes a big difference. Yeah,
I mean, because if I hired you and we went out, people would probably just wonder why we're hanging out because,
yeah,
and
yeah.
perhaps you know some things about,
I'm gonna tell you a story right quick, right?
yeah, go ahead.
I met Dr. J, and I was like, man, we was going to Chops. He was in Alpharetta. I was here in Georgia. We was going to Chops. I was with a guy, me and Mark James, that's my best friend, Mark James. We was with a guy, football player. The football player played for the Saints, uh, started on the defense for the Saints, and we're walking through the restaurant with, and he stopped and we saw Dr. J. Man, I'm like, man, it's Dr. J. So he stopped and said, can I take a picture with him? So a lady, very nice looking lady next to him, looked like it was another guy sitting across from him and Dr. J and the lady. She said, baby, why you gonna take a picture when you don't even know him? Guess what Dr. J said?
What did he say?
Baby, got to be somebody got bodyguards. Y'all took the picture. I took Dr. J. I want to take a picture with him so bad, but you can't do that. Oh, I want to take a picture with Dr. J. I said, oh, and Dr. J. And we walked on. So yeah, you having having somebody. If I'm with you and you can kind of hide, you think you can hide, man, they're gonna know you. When you working, they're gonna know you doing security for someone. You can't hide that. Now on a glance, you can hide it. With your clothes, you can at a glance. But if somebody really watching, you're gonna like, man, you secure. They're gonna know you security, bro. You doing your
Right.
job. So yeah, it makes a difference, man. I just had to share that story with you, man. It was so funny when she
Well, I
said that.
appreciate you sharing the story.
Yeah,
And it's funny that you share that story because I'm like, man, this guy's he's worked with, you've been around all the big name celebrities. Like there ain't no way there's anybody out here you could be starstruck by. But he said, Dr. J, that's the one.
yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
the
I was
one.
like, man, yeah. You don't see
Frozen
them.
frozen his
Yeah, you don't see
tracks.
people. Yeah, I was like, man, I gonna play ball. He was my idol coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's really interesting kind of being in this space and in the firearm Second Amendment space and getting a chance to talk to some of the people that I've looked up to tremendously. Even yourself, who when I first got started in doing this publicly, people would send me your videos and be like, "Hey man, this guy's really getting it." I'm like, "Wow, look at that! This Mike guy, he's all that." And now we get an opportunity to talk on the do an interview together. So thank you for coming on. I definitely appreciate it.
thanks for having me.
And
And I don't do a
absolutely.
lot of interviews. I think this is on my second interview, third interview ever.
Well, look at that.
Yeah,
I'm honored, and I hope the audience understands how great it is that you came on to share some of your stories, share some of your insights, because I think you have a lot to share. Probably more to share than we have really time in a day to go over, much less an hour interview. I did want to talk about something that's maybe a little bit more serious. I don't want to talk in great detail, unless you really have something to share. But I know your friend was murdered not that long ago, and like you said, you worked with the Migos for a while, and I wasn't sure. I don't know if there's anything in particular you'd like to share, but I did want to just take a minute and just recognize that he was your friend and that did happen.
yeah. Well, yeah, man, that's still hard to deal with for me. Great
Yeah,
guy. I mean, I was the like basically first security, and I traveled with them for the first basically 2 years by myself. And different things came about, different opportunities. Me also getting tired of traveling a lot. Missing my kids grow up because I was with Luda. and then I was with them. So it was like basically 3 years went by. We came home. My son was, like he almost was a whole different person, and it made me feel bad. It was like the guilt came in, and I really slowed down after that. And I went back with them when Bad and Budget went out, came out. Matter of fact, we was in Houston at the Super Bowl. That's when I met Cardi B before she was, the world renowned singer she is now. Yeah, and good person. I got to do a lot of stuff with her because she was dealing with Offset at the time. But man, Takeoff was a great, great, great guy, and he was always the same person all the time. Um, just a great guy, and you never hear anybody say anything bad about him. He was a great guy, great talent. Uh, we used to be before they got big. We used to ride everywhere in a GMC motor van, and everywhere they did, man. The only thing they did is go to shows, come back, they'll unwind for a little while, and work on their craft. That's when I knew they was gonna be great. When I told, I used to tell them all the time it's gonna be great. And when you when you travel with someone for so long, it's like they're your family. That's your family. That's who you see all the time. I'm gone 20, 21, 22 days out the month. I'm with them. They was doing shows everywhere. So through the time, even when I wasn't with them that much and I was doing Quavo, every time I basically with Quavo, who was with him all the time? Takeoff. So uh, he was a good guy. He's gonna be missed. Uh, Great. He was a great, great guy. And a lot of people don't realize that they're really family. Like people, that's they're really blood family. And I know his mom very well, his brothers, Quavo mama. I knew all them like we were family, man. Christmas dinners, all that stuff. Yeah, but he's
Wow.
gonna be missed. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I'm very thankful that you got a chance to share that, and thank you for opening up and sharing some of that. I guess behind the scenes look and remembering Takeoff for the man he was, versus just kind of the image that gets put out when you just make music. People don't really see you as a person; they just see you as something of an icon, maybe. So definitely. And I know in the past you've said you've worked with them, and I know you've maybe even thought like, hey, um, when I was with them, nothing happened. Do you feel anything? Do you ever like question like, dang, like if I was still working with them, maybe this wouldn't have happened? Or and I don't want to put you in a bad
But yeah,
spot by even asking,
you
but
always gonna say that, man. When I
yeah,
first started working with them, man, I had to change how how I moved, not physically, but in my mind. Like when I first started going out with them, it was like I get a phone call late at night. I was like, maybe something happened. And then there were times things did happen when I wasn't there. And I would hear that if I was there, blah, 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 blah. But, I believe a lot of it was just God, man. And plus, I would talk to them like we family. So if they want to do something, time we yell and fussed each other out. Not a lot, but it was times. But they knew I cared about them, and they knew also I didn't have to be there. You know, I was there because I cared about 'em, especially the second go around. I was there because I cared about 'em. It wasn't because of anything else. And like even with me now, I really don't want to go out and don't try to go out with anybody else unless I've gone out with them in the past. I've gone out with Ti a couple of times. Different people of that nature. I'm cool with going out with them, but man, it's hard to detach away from someone you done been around. Like you think about 2 years straight, you with them more than you with your family, so it's hard to detach from that. And me being the person I am, uh, it's hard for my emotions to detach. But they pick up on that. That's why to the day we still friends. I'm still good friends with Quavo, management, the crew. Good friends. We don't have to talk all the time. Quavo. You look at my page. I've trained him. He came and trained with me 3 or 4 times. Tell my daughter happy birthday on IG. We were like family, man.
yeah,
So it's just different. Uh, it's different when you don't know the person, you see the person, and versus you know the person, you know their family, you know their mothers, sisters, and all other stuff. And it be so much stuff going on, man. But I don't really get that. What I'm saying, I really don't have no desire to go out with any other people. I got a client I've been with the last few years, real good guy. I go out with him, you know, off and on now. More, that's who I go out with the most now. But and every now and then, of course, since the incident, I haven't been out with Quavo since the incident happened. But I had just been with them several times before it happened, actually.
Yeah.
So it's just bad, man. It's just like I said, it's unbelievable, man. But at the end of the day, man, only thing you can do is just understand everything happened because of God, in my opinion. God in my life kept me from being in the situation, kept them from being in the situation. And just hearing, just say, hey, let's don't do this, don't do that. One wrong move could have been, could have been, terrible, man. It's so
Yeah.
much stuff I can tell you in my head. I just can't go through it. I mean, it's stories I know. I don't know if I need to share everything, but just basic stories like when I wasn't there, this happened, this happened, this happened. I'm like, dude, why did he do that? Like, why would the other guy do that? So, and
Yeah.
it's hard to put others. It was hard for me to put other people around them because they wanted me. They didn't want nobody else.
Hmm.
So yeah, it is what it is. But I'm just glad that I'm glad Quavo, could have been both of them.
Yeah. It could have
Yeah,
been.
could have been both of them. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and it is really interesting just to kind of, as an outsider looking in, you get the news flash on the phone, and it's like, man, what happened? Is this real? Like, I was in college when those guys were really blowing up, and just banger after banger after banger, and I wasn't like some super fan to really feel like depressed, but the fact that you've known them like literal family, like you're with them more than you're with your own actual family, and even the consequence of that, missing out on some of the important moments in your family's life. So now there's extra attachment and extra connection there. So definitely, I feel for you, and I know you didn't come on here for sympathy, but you have my a tremendous amount of empathy for me, and some sympathy at that as well. That you lost your friend, and I think I speak for at least most of us that we're sorry that happened. We're sorry for his family who they don't get to cherish him in life anymore, but have to remember him. Transitioning to another question, I have so many questions and we're kind of running short on time, but I did want to ask, what are some, and this is probably a quick question, what are some attributes that you prefer in a client? Say, if you can think of the ideal client, what are some things that you're like, hey, listen, this is a prime gig, versus if you had to work with this guy again, you probably say, nah, like I'm not doing it.
Well, let me be honest with you. Okay, I I don't go out with anybody unless I sit down and talk to them. So if I don't, if it's some red flag come out, red flags in the first meeting or second meeting when I meet with them, there I try
Mhm.
to, just like they vet me, I vet them. Hey, what kind of person is he? Just don't go out with
So what
him.
what are what are some of those red flags per se?
Okay, things like they're aggressive and disrespectful to other people. Uh, they're hot tempered. Uh, they they're in a situation where people are looking for them, trying to do the harm to them. Stuff of that nature. Those would be some top uh, uh, things I look for. Also, I look at what kind of relationship they have with their parents. You
Really?
know, are their parents in their lives? What kind of relationship they have with their parents. Uh, I look at all that stuff, but off the rip, I look at just them, how they talk and how they move, what they want from me, and we have a good understanding. But I never just like I don't meet people and just like go out with them. Like you can't call me and get off the airplane and I don't care who you are, I'm not coming unless I know you. Just I'm not coming, man. I don't care who you are. I don't want to say the names, but there's people when I like nah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
nah.
I can
Talk to
appreciate
them on the
that.
phone like nah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm
Right.
good. So, yeah, unless I sit down, we talk. You got to understand it. And just why put myself in a situation like that? And people do
Right.
that all the time. They get somebody to barely talk to them. They know they got a bad reputation. This, and this. They'll take them just because of their name, and well, maybe also they need the money. I have no problem anybody doing what they need to do to feed their family. they got to go out with a beehole to do it and then need the money, I have no problem with that. But what I'm saying is that I started doing static security first, and then I went into EP work. I've been doing EP work probably. Uh, well, no, I started doing EP work in the early '90s. So I started and I started doing static security, and I started back doing EP work. But I built my base first, so I don't have to deal with you know clients as far as I'm gonna eat one way or the other, put it that way.
Right.
So I put myself in a situation where deal with headaches. And a lot of people, they don't have no income to fall on. They just strictly EP work. And then when the client happens, something happened to them, I know people were really starving when the COVID hit.
Yeah.
It was like shows canceled everything. I was training TI kids. I don't know if you saw Masai a few weeks back, about a month ago. He was on my page. I was training Masai and Demonte. Demonte and I got the albums out and doing real good in the industry. I was training them almost 2, 3 times a week, and then when COVID hit, it was like boom,
Boom.
you know, yeah, everything shut down. So yeah, so
That's a
yeah,
whole conversation in itself, huh?
it's like I said, I sit back and think. That's why I said when you talk, let's just talk, man. Uh,
Yeah.
I just talk. Yeah.
So I did want to just kind of ask, what are some, I guess, pieces of advice that you would have for maybe a young dude or young lady trying to get into executive protection? Or maybe they've been in it for a little bit, but they could use some advice. You know, I know there's a little bit of let's just hear your advice if you
Well,
have any.
depending on where they are, starting off, even if you've gone out a couple times, get up under somebody gonna help you grow. I was Eliza Shaw, great guy, Icon Protection Company, good friends with my buddy Mark James. Lodge is great, run a great EP class. Learn, get the information, and then from that, uh, you know, try to get up under people. It's people now. Uh, that Travis Scott, Bodyguard for years, ended up working with me first with the Migos. Went out with me several times. He would always try to pick up work. He was working with Alonzo, always picking up work. And then he landed Travis, and now he's a big name in the EP business, but he started off just learning, working with people. When I started off with doing a lot of work with the State Patrol. Then I got with my buddy Mark Six James as far as EP work. I was doing a lot of security work at the time. Just got with him EP work. A few other people I deal with, but I got with people and worked with them, and then all of a sudden, boom, my clients start coming my way. They just wanted me. So get with somebody. Just don't jump out there, man, and think, it ain't how you think, man. It's just like you doing your show. How many shows you've done so far?
Shoot, I would say at this point between 60 and 70.
Okay. So your
Yeah.
first 5 shows are not like your shows now, right?
No. no,
Same
no,
thing
no,
with people,
no.
man. People think, and so they just go out from nothing to just going out there. Dude, you don't know how it is. Get up under somebody first and see how it is. Get you a dozen of 20, 20 times, 30 times, and then go out because man, a lot of people get messed up, man. And then, you trash your name and all that stuff, it is not worth it, man. Then, you can get yourself jammed up. It's so many people don't know. I know some people got jammed up because of gun laws, didn't know, thought they could do this and that, end up, and then what's going to happen? Your client is not going to pay for your gun. She's not going to pay for you to go to court. It's very rare you're going to have that. You're going to be jammed up, money out your pocket, man. Maybe not be able to carry a gun anymore. So, uh, yeah, my thing, don't jump out there. Go get some proper training. Get with some people. Get you some reps up under your belt, and then go out there and do it. So just like I said, your first 5 shows not how you are now.
Right.
It's the same thing. Anything you do in life, but with EP work, man, if you really in it, and depending who you with to, man, you can really change the rest of your life. One bad mistake, man. I'm not saying negative. I'm not saying nothing's gonna happen. But I've seen people get jammed up more than once.
Yeah.
Yeah, several. Yeah, jammed up. Yeah, yep.
Man. There's so much more we could talk about, so much more I could ask you, but I think we'll go ahead and cut it right here. let people know how they can find you, how they can enjoy your content, and of course, if they, I suppose, if they're in your area and they want to obtain your services in whatever capacity you still do the work. I think company and whatnot. So there's guys who could clearly help them out if they need the kind of help. How can people find you? How can people get a hold of you?
Just go on Instagram, the number seven, Mike D. Smith. That's my Instagram page. DM me. You want any training, anything like that, or just if you just want some advice, just feel free to call me. I'll try to sit down. A lot of people call me off and on and ask just for advice. More than willing to give you advice. As far as like just going out, doing work with people I don't know, I'm past that stage in my life. If I don't really know you or somebody really recommend you highly, I really don't do that. Now, as far as static security, yeah, you got a club, or really I don't really do club lounges or either high rises, condos, stuff of that nature. Call me. Maybe we sit down and do some work together. But yeah, seven Instagram. Number seven, Mike D. Smith. DM me for advice, anything. Also prayer. You want me to pray for you. Me and my wife pray for you. You're going through something. Uh, I'm more than willing to take time and pray for you, man. Everything that shared with me stays between me and you. So that's the best way to reach me.
Well, thank you, Mike. I definitely appreciate it. And for all those watching and listening, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Caustic Conversations. Of course, we just had Mike Smith, executive protection, security, and a lot of other things that we didn't even really get a chance to talk about. That said, if you love the show, make sure you go over to the YouTube side. If you're not already here, click like, subscribe. The most important thing is to subscribe, of course. And of course, until next time, keep it costly.